Momentum, Darren McDonald.
According to Sir Isaac Newton's law of inertia, a body at rest tends to stay at rest, and a body in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. That body in motion is said to have momentum. Newton was describing the motion of planets, subatomic particles, and apples falling on his head. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, and honorable judges. I propose that that law can also be applied to people. In order to add some momentum to your life, you might have to do a little juggling. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. I can tell you about a body at rest. When I left home for college, I discovered I suffered from depression. Each day I would grudgingly roll out of bed, go to school, go eat, and roll back into bed. I only did what I must in order to survive. I felt as if I was down in this deep well, and the world around me was this bright circle of life, far out of my reach. I finally heeded the advice of my parents and sought help. After a year of therapy and 2 years of antidepressants, my life was set in motion. I finally understood what it felt like to be alive. I felt as if I were pulled up out of that well and made part of that world instead of viewing it from a distance. I grabbed that momentum and I ran with it. I found a career in which I can excel. I found the right partner, married her, and started a family. I found Toastmasters where I learned to express my feelings instead of keeping them bottled inside. I don't necessarily hop out of bed every morning, but I wake up with several feelings in my heart. I'm glad I'm alive. I'm grateful I have a stable job. I have a family and friends who love me. That thought keeps my momentum going every day. When two bodies are involved, things get more interesting. A few years ago, a coworker convinced me that we should run in the half, a 13-mile trek around White Rock Lake. We figured that we walked so much in our daily routine that 13 miles in 4 hours would be easy. We couldn't have been more stupid. It started off fine. We jogged the first mile, or most of it. Then we laughed and talked and kept each other going. About 6 miles, the laughing stopped. At about 10 miles, the talking was replaced with a silent glare that said, "How did I let you talk me into this?" Finally, 4 hours after we had begun, we crossed the finish line with arms raised in triumph and pain. I vowed never again. That next year, as I prepared to run it again, I found a new partner, David. David and I planned for the half. We jogged with each other months before the race. We encouraged each other to keep getting in condition. That year, the day of the race, we jogged most of the first 6 miles, easily walked through the rest of the race, and finished this time in 3 hours without the pain. It only took a little encouragement to keep our momentum going. When 3 bodies are involved, something new comes into creation. A group, a team, a community. Let me tell you about my favorite team. I grew up in Carthage, a small town in East Texas, where the population has never exceeded 6,000, but the high school students have always exceeded expectations. Our academic team often won state. Our band won state and national awards, but our football team could never quite reach that pinnacle of achievement. 2008 looked to be different. The coach called plays like you'd see in the NFL. The team was fast and strong, and the community supported them with a passion. All around town, you'd see posters saying, "Go Bulldogs, all the way to state." As the football season drew to a close, Carthage made it to that final game. We faced the Salina Bobcats, a team with a long history of winning. They won 8 state championships. Winning the 9th would set a new Texas high school football record. On December 19th, the teams met in Texas Stadium. The Salina fans filled their seats from goal line to goal line. Carthage fans filled their side a little bit more. I was certain there wasn't a soul left in Carthage that night. As the game began, the coach called his plays. The team executed them, and the fans cheered them on into the night. As that historic 555th game, the very last high school football game to be played in Texas Stadium, drew to a close, the scoreboard read 37-49. That night, as the final whistle blew, if Texas Stadium had a roof on it, it would have been blown off by the cheering of the fans on the Carthage side. The Bulldogs took over their first state championship. Obviously, the momentum of that night is still with me, and I am proud to be a Carthage Bulldog. Do you have momentum in your life, or are you a body at rest? Discover within yourself what it takes to get your life. If you stumble, don't let it stop your momentum. Discover within yourself what it takes to get your life in motion. Find a partner who will support you, and you can support in turn. Join a community whose purpose you can get behind. When you do, you'll find yourself part of something both productive and beautiful. Get your life in motion and find your momentum.